people often don't realize how many individuals on our day-to-day that we interact with are actually experiencing homelessness. It could be coworkers, it could be a teacher, it could be, the person that works at the local supermarket. Homelessness could be invisible.
Hello, and welcome to the Palm Beach County Living Podcast. Here we talk about all the amazing people, events, businesses, and everything that makes Palm Beach County, Florida, such a fantastic place to live. As a local real estate agent, my clients always ask me about the best restaurants, events, jobs, and people here. So I developed this show to help you get a feel for all of the best the Palm Beaches has to offer. With that being said, let's start the show right now.
Hi, everyone. I'm here today to really discuss something that's important to all of us, and that's really about volunteering or donating or finding charities that really go above and beyond to help people. And today I'm talking with two people from a organization called Adopt a Family. And if you both wouldn't mind, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Layren Calvo. I serve as Director of Agency Relations, and I've been with the agency for 10 years today.
Wow. Okay.
And my name is Matt Constantine, and I serve as our CEO, Executive Director, and I've worked here for 21 years.
Wow.
And have had the opportunity and good fortune to work in a lot of our programs during that period.
Fantastic. It's so nice to meet you. And thank you for coming on and talking with us today about this charity. Could you please tell me what the primary goal of Adopt a Family of the Palm Beaches is? Either one of you.
Sure. No, so our mission is to restore families in crisis to stability and self-sufficiency. So we are, our main goal is to get families back on their feet. And what that looks like for us is working a lot on housing issues and working with families who are either homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. Our belief and our philosophy is that if a family is unhoused or facing eviction, it's really hard for the family to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really focus our efforts not only on housing, but on supportive services to make sure that family is able to excel.
That's very interesting. So things that immediately come to mind when you say that is, did you find that, during, 2020 and when we were under the crucial portions of the pandemic, that because people couldn't work, did you find that that really had a huge impact on families? And were you seeing an increase in that issue?
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, it was interesting. I mean, there were a couple of phases of the pandemic, and I think initially there was definitely a lot of need, but then a lot of resources kind of came into the community, which helped. But really, what has I think accelerated things recently has just been the drastic increase in housing costs, especially rentals.
Yeah.
And so a lot of families that really have never found themselves in this situation suddenly are in this situation.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's renting, just the inflation altogether. I know inflation's only supposed to be a certain percent, but a very low percent, but whether it's 7 or 9%, everything else seems to be like 50%. So I know they generalize it with such a small number, but really most things have really doubled or tripled in price, obviously food, um, anything and definitely housing as well. So what inspired the creation of Adopt a Family?
So I'll take that one. In 1983, we had three, and we say local ladies because they were Palm Beach County ladies that held different positions, and one of them was in the banking industry. To make a long story short, these three women learned of a family that was literally under a bridge, and they rallied together. They came together, pooling resources from the community to see that family through that hardship. And they quickly realize, well, if there is one family, there's certainly more that in the same or similar situations. So that's how Adopt a Family came about.
Wow, that's very inspiring. I have tissues over here just in case because I know that you're gonna say something, and I know it's gonna spur something in me. So, Matt, this question's for you. Can you share a significant accomplishment, or project during your 21 years of being at Adopt a Family?
Yeah, there've been, a lot of feel great moments.
Mhm.
I would just say that there are a lot of moments that stand out, and I think for me, I had the good fortune to be involved with a couple of our housing programs as they were being developed, from the planning to the construction to the fundraising to seeing families move in, and
Mm,
those really do stand out. There's one in 2008 called Wiley Reynolds, and most recently, we completed a 14 unit housing program with a community center called Julian Place, which is really special to me, but also to a lot of our staff here. And it's just nice to know that once those bricks are in place, they're not going anywhere, and it's truly
mhm.
affordable housing for families.
That's great. Um, Layren, can you tell me what inspired you to become involved with Adopt a Family of the Palm Beaches?
Yeah. So honestly, when I came here straight from college, and I had no idea what Adoptly did. I had no idea, the impact it had in the community. All I knew was that they helped families, and I wanted to help families. So when they called, I was really excited just to know that I was going to be able to, in a way, make a difference in Palm Beach County.
That's great. So I think when I think adopt a family, what would constitute a family? Like how is it the grandparents, aunts, what's involved? Who gets who can apply and how can you help them?
Yeah, so we take all kinds of families. So, families with children, a single mom, a mom and dad, a grandparent caring for their kids. A lot of our programs, we work closely with the school district. So we, do, target those households that have minor children. And, we have an after school program. So a lot of the work that we do centers on that education piece as well as the housing. But yeah, we have a variety of families on our campus and who we serve.
Single
Okay,
dads
so
as
you
well.
I'm sorry. You
Oh, I just
mentioned
said single dads.
single dads. Oh, okay. So you had mentioned education and housing. Are there any other services that you guys also work on?
Yeah, for all of our housing programs, the housing is just one piece. So we work on job placement. We have a job coach. We work on mental health. We have a therapist on site that tries to, is able to work with a lot of the families and children. We have a after school program that we operate, a full blown summer camp, case management, financial literacy, budget counseling,
Mhm.
really a wide array of services. So it's the housing is the start, but really there's a lot of work that has to be, that we like to offer and have our families work with us on, to help them get to the next level.
I mean, you guys do so much. I had no idea. I mean,
Yeah.
what great work that this organization, Adopt a Family of the Palm Beaches, is. And, I hope that this message gets out and more people really focus and really learn more. And I hope to educate them as much as I can within this podcast about how great this organization is. Can you tell me any misconceptions people might have about this organization?
Yeah, I can answer that. And Matt, please
Yeah.
chime in. I think that people often, there's just a variety, I guess, of misconceptions. People often don't realize how many individuals on our day to day that we interact with are actually experiencing homelessness. It could be coworkers, it could be a teacher, it could be the person that works at the local supermarket. Homelessness could be invisible, especially for families. Sometimes you think of homelessness and you envision that somebody's at a corner with a sign, but you don't see the mom that could be potentially in a parking lot or in a car, or going from a relative's home to a motel, and then from a motel to the next friend's house that is, a stay. And that could easily be misleading to when you think of homelessness.
It's a very true statement because, in immediate, like, obviously, when you think of homelessness, you think of, a haggard man on the corner holding a sign. That's probably the most, you know, common, a thought. But you're 100% right. You never know, who it involves. So, um, what are the most immediate needs your organization faces, and how can we help? How can the community help you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have several. Unfortunately we have a lot of needs, and one of the big needs obviously is funding. We receive a lot of grants, and we have incredibly generous supporters, and we're really fortunate. But a lot of these situations, all of our expenses aren't covered, and the costs of rents have gone, costs of utilities have gone up for the families that we serve. So we're always open and love the opportunity to receive financial support for our mission, and the work we do with the families we serve. Additionally, some things that are huge helps to the families we serve are something like diapers, doing diaper drives or something like that in your community. Hygiene products are another really big piece where a lot of times the budgets are so tight. Things that many people might take for granted are things that we can't, that some of our families can't get at Publix. The expense is too high. Cleaning supplies, a similar situation where we just love it when the community comes together, and we've had this where a bank or a neighborhood will do one of those drives for us, and it's always a huge help. Another big piece too is helping us with school supplies and uniforms during, like, January and February. Everyone is amazing in the summer, but our kids grow, uniforms change, they need different sizes, their backpacks are worn out, or they need new supplies. So a lot of those needs, when the community can come together and help us with that, it's tremendous help.
Yeah. Yeah. I would add, we have, now that the holidays are coming, we think of toys, and we think of, canned goods for Thanksgiving, specifically, that Thanksgiving meal. What does that look like for a family?
Yeah. Wow. Can you highlight a specific program or initiative that has been particularly successful in achieving your goals? I know you've done a lot of drives, or have banks or stuff participate in drives, but is there any other things you can think of?
Well, I mean, I think as far as programs, I could highlight our after school program, Project Grow, which has about 60 kids, kindergarten through fifth
Wow.
grade. And, we recently contracted with a search and evaluation team, and we got a data sharing agreement with the school district. So for one of the first times recently, we were able to kind of compare and contrast our kids with school district kids, and our kids outperformed the school district kids. And I think that is in large part due to the sort of academic structure of our after school program, the support that our kids receive. And it's really important because a lot of our kids, they're coming to us with trauma. They've moved 5 or 6 times in the last year before they get here. There's lack of stability impacts all facets of their academic performance. And to see Project Grow make that kind of an impact, we're really proud of it. And it just tells us that to keep doing more of what we're doing.
That's awesome. Layren, can you tell me one of your most rewarding aspects of your work?
Sure. Well, if you're ever in the area,
Yeah.
by all means, please stop by so you can see our campus. But we do really foster here a family environment. To me, it's really rewarding to see the families, the impact our staff has on our families, like the relationship aspect of it, the trust and the care that our front staff, and it extends to everybody. Like we know the families, but if I had to highlight, for me, it's like the children and seeing them go from one from first grade to second grade, and seeing how they're developing and learning from how they got here to how we've been able to make a positive impact in their lives and see them flourish. That is very rewarding to me.
Hmm. That's so, I mean, that has to be so heartwarming to see someone grow throughout your their time there. I mean, do you have people that are there temporarily, or is it more common to really be there for, a couple of years, or what does that normally look like?
Yeah. I mean, depending on the program, like we, for example, have some programs where it's a homeless prevention program and a family is facing an eviction, and we help with that family and help them get current. We may be involved with them for a shorter period of time as like 3 or 4 months. And they're back on their feet and they just sort of needed a kind of a hand up to get through that crisis. And then we have other programs in our housing programs that we operate. Those are typically longer term in nature, and families can be here as long as 3 or 4 years.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So, I mean, there's, obviously such a significant, amount of time that you can really, like, really grow to your point, Laren, about, and really know this family as your own for being with them for so many years and watching them. It's like I said, it's very heartwarming. So can you give me some recent examples of the impacts and successes that adoptive family has had in the community?
You want to talk
Yeah.
about Julian Place, maybe?
Yeah, I think in our community here in Lake Worth, we're really excited. We completed construction just 3 years ago of a program called Julian Place, which is a 14-unit housing program here in the city of Lake Worth. And what's unique about it is it's actually a partnership with our local elementary school. So Highland Elementary is actually a Title I school, a really close partner of our organization. And it's also a school that unfortunately has a lot of challenges and need. And so there are a lot of families that deal with unstable housing on a regular basis. And so we actually take referrals from the elementary school, and we house those families into this program and work closely with the school to just track the kids, every kid's performance and how they're doing. So it was a exciting project, and it really was a neat program too, because it really served the neighborhood. Families that were attending Highland already live here, and
Mhm.
they're struggling with housing. So to be able to keep them in the neighborhood
Okay, yeah.
was special. So that's one big one. Another one is also we were awarded a nice grant and opportunity from what's called the Day One Fund, which has helped us immensely here, and it has allowed us to work more, aggressively with trying to get families who are unsheltered into shelter, and trying to divert families from having to remain homeless. And it just expanded our capacity to be able to make sure that as many families that can be housed or sheltered are just that. And those days when a family's in a car, uh, they do a lot of damage quickly to a lot of kids and a lot of parents. So just being able to work a little more quickly to address has been a big help too. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. I can't even imagine, what, kids, and obviously, especially what kids feel like, living in a car or living, to your point, different spots, every other day or not having a home. And then also being, in an area or school where, maybe, it makes them feel less than or, um, I can see how that would hinder, growth and their education and it's so it's so good to know that there's people like you out there that, are so invested and wanna make a difference. Now, I know that you had mentioned, obviously, financial and, food and products, but can people volunteer their time? I mean, is there something that, someone can, anybody can go in and, say, "Hey, I'd like to help out. What can I do?" I mean, do you take in volunteers like that as well?
We do take in volunteers. And some of our volunteer opportunities require, for example, if you're going to volunteer in our after school program, a commitment of a consistent weekly schedule
Okay.
for a period of time, because so many of our kids have people in and out of their life. So
Sure.
we want them to be in.
Mhm.
And we've had some amazing and continue to have some great volunteers down there. And also, other things, we do some really fun family events. We have a trunk or treat, for example. We do movie
Oh,
nights. We have holiday themed events where folks can come in and it's more of a quicker
Okay.
situation. So yeah, calling our office. We have a person, a staff person who handles
Okay.
that. But yeah,
That's great. That's so wonderful. So, what do you envision as the future impact and growth of Adoptive Family of the Palm Beaches?
I mean, I think for us, it's we just wrapped up our strategic plan not too long ago.
Mm.
And our focus is always on sort of being right sized and being able to focus on the quality of our programs. So it's not really a situation, well, we envision us, building more housing, doing this, doing that. Our vision is to be the best that we can be with the families that we serve. And so when there are opportunities for us to take on new initiatives or new programs, it's a very thoughtful discussion with staff and our board of directors. And we want to make sure that A, it makes sense, and B, if we do it, we can do a really good job with it.
Mhm.
So we focus on ensuring our programs are the best that they can possibly be. We work hard to make sure that we keep the staff and the board of directors that we have, because we have I think, the best team in the county in those areas, and also you know, just really working hard to communicate to all of our supporters, friends, and families, that it really is a team effort, and it really does take a village to try to tackle some of these tough issues. And we're just lucky to be a part of the team. And we're just one. We're adoptive family, and we do, I think, really great work. But we're also really fortunate to partner with amazing agents.
That's awesome. That's good. So great to hear. So, can you tell me one of your most heartwarming or humorous thank you messages you've received from a family?
we're gonna go with most heartwarming.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, it's funny, I thought about this and I didn't have to think too long, because I remember, I guess it was probably 2 or 3 years ago, I missed a phone call, came back to the office later, had a new message, and it was from a mom that I'd worked with many years ago. Her name was Joanne, who was an incredible success story, and just turned her life around. Amazing woman, hard worker. Left an abusive relationship and took off with her life. Ended up buying her own home, and so
Oh,
she left me this message, and it started with, Matt. This is Joanne. I hope everything's going well. Listen, I always talk to you about how I'm doing, show you how much adoptive family has helped my family. And she starts talking and she starts choking up. You can hear her
mm,
getting emotional. And she tells us and tells me in the message that her son, her only son, just purchased his first home
Oh,
in New York. And he lived with us for 5 years, 6 years. He went to our after school program, and grew up in some ways here after they left a really kind of volatile situation. And her message is like, we ended up talking about it like the next week at an event that we had, but it just reinforces that you're not just helping what you're seeing in front of you that day, especially with kids involved, right? So there are these seeds that we plant and the work that we do. Some of it comes into fruition years later. And she just wanted to say thank you for offering her and her family the love, support, stability, and that she's still seeing it pay off. And that to me was, I think that was it. That was,
yeah,
aside from staff and board member thank you things, when I think of the families, that one stands out.
that's an amazing story. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That's great.
Thank
Layren, do you have any?
Well, I like Matt, I started working in the homelessness prevention program as a case manager. And when I started, um, well, I didn't have, there was no FaceTime. It was all, the phones and things like that.
Yeah.
But one of the families we were able to help, she had been living in a household that was honestly like not meant for anybody to be there. She had mold, the kids were getting sick, they were having like respiratory issues. She had one of the toilets had a leak, causing her to have like really high water bills, and she really didn't have a support system. She didn't have anybody in her corner fighting for her. The landlord wouldn't do anything about it. And through our program, we were able to like end her lease, be able to move her to a house where, none of these issues existed. It was, a clean, safe home that she could, sustain after we're no longer in the picture. Her phone call when she first moved in, that's another one that will stick with me forever, because it wasn't a message. It was, I wish I could have recorded it, because she was just so filled with gratitude for ours able to be, there for her when nobody was. And that was the message.
Mm, yeah. I mean, that has to be so rewarding and so, knowing that, you can help. I feel like, it has to be so difficult sometimes because I would be like, just come live with me. All of you here, you can come stay at my home. Um, you know, it's got to be, so difficult to, not to be to, to help these people come self-sufficient and help these people be able to move forward because you know, I I would just be like, "Oh my gosh." Like, I don't know. I would just be so beside myself. And it's, how wonderful, that you can give them and provide them the services in all areas, not just, homelessness, like you said, but education, mental health. These things are so, integral and important to us. And it's so great that you guys are able to do that and help these people and be more productive and help themselves in the future and their the family that they're also bringing up as well. To your point, now they have their own home that they've purchased or renting or whatever. So wow, that's good. That's a good one. So I do have kind of a fun question for you. If you could invite any historical figure to a charity gala for Adopt a Family, who would it be,
you.
and what would you talk about?
You know, I'm still thinking about this. I don't know that I have a specific person in mind. If if I maybe you can recall like somebody who has the ability to help others
Hmm.
and to be an inspiration, not just financially, yes, but to be of service to their community, and lead with example, not just talk the talk, but walk the walk of this is what I'm doing, follow me and try to put your own little mustard seed in this
Mhm.
world.
Hmm. It's
But I
awesome.
don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that is good though. I mean, it doesn't really have to be anyone famous. Anybody could help plant the seed. So that's a great point. That's a really, really good good point. They don't have to be famous. It doesn't have to be any historical figure. But that's awesome. Thank you so much. So lastly, I mean, we've talked about all this stuff. So do you have a phone number, a website? How can we get in contact with you to help?
Yes, we have our website is aafpbc.org, and AF for Adopt a Family. So
Okay.
aafpbc.org.
Mhm.
And our phone number is 561-253-1361.
Awesome. And you said you're located in Lake Worth?
Yes.
Yep. We have three
Okay.
locations. We have a shelter in West Palm, and we also have an office we partner with at the Senator Philip Lewis Center, which
Okay.
is in West Palm as well.
Okay. In Lake Worth. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking your time. I know that you're busy and so involved. So being able to, take this time and talk about adopt a family, is appreciated it. And thank you so much for being able to talk to me today. I really do appreciate it. It was so nice meeting you, both Nat and Layren, and thank you for your time. Is there any other message or anything that you would like to say or leave with our viewers?
One thing I would say, especially if there are viewers that are sort of newly located here, is that welcome, but also I think they've come to a very generous community. Palm Beach County, I think, has a strong history of being there for those in need, and supporting, not just nonprofit agencies, but really sort of supporting those organizations, whatever they look like, in that assist um, families and individuals in need. And so, we're forever grateful for so many of the people in Palm Beach County that are there for our mission. But it's not just our mission, right? So they're there for a lot of different organizations and causes, and I think it's really it's inspiring to us.
That's great. Thank you. So I know if they want to contact you, 561-253-1361 is what they can call. And then your website, aafpbc.org. That's
And
Yep.
correct?
I can give them, Melanie, my extension number. It's
Sure.
1120.
Okay.
Um,
120.
that way, the phone call will come to me directly. And
Okay.
I would say, to people that are listening, one, be kind, two, get involved, so like learn, what's happening in the community, what agencies are making an impact. And again, if you are in a position to help others,
Mm,
that's it.
Nice.
That's
I like
awesome.
it.
Yeah, that was perfect. Thank
It
you.
was. It was great.
It really was. You wrapped it up. A little bow. Perfect.
Yeah.
Again,
Melanie, thank you so much.
thank
It
you.
was really, and to kind of echo what Layren said, you and James, if you guys are ever down here, we would love to have you.
Yeah, definitely. I would love
You
to stop by and see you for sure. I think this is, it's unfortunate I didn't know about it, so I'm so glad to learn about it, and it's just so heartwarming. Again, I know I just keep using that word, and I'm sorry I don't have a better vocabulary than heartwarming at this point, but it's so touching that you're involved so much with so many different aspects, of people in need's lives. And, we're definitely, Palm Beach County is definitely lucky to have people like you, to support, um, you know, the people that live here. So again, thank you.